Well, we're going to move into the non-Harley gear a lot sooner than I thought we would. The reason is that you just can't buy Harley gear for Pan Americans right now. Almost all the dealers are completely sold out of the gear, and the few that have the gear are holding on to it, and they're not releasing it unless you actually buy a motorcycle from them. Even the ones that don't have any Pan Americans in stock. Well, I need a set of panniers, so I'll move it on. This is a set of Giant Loop Mototrekk Panniers. These are 50-liter waterproof soft panniers. They're heavy duty. They've been proven all around the world. I'll show you a few things about how they work. Then I'm going to go mount them on my Pan America. Now, these things are designed to strap down to any type of rack on any motorcycle, including the ones for the Pan America. Unfortunately, right now, the racks for the Pan America are just not available anymore either. So there's an alternative way of putting these on, and I'll show you how I need to do that. I really can't sit around and wait for parts to show up. I need to go ride. This is the bag. There's two of them in the set. They're 25 liters apiece, 50 liters total, liter being the standard measurement for motorcycle touring bags. Made out of a pretty heavy PVC. It's got straps all the way around it. That way after you pack it up, you can cinch it down like a stuff sack and it'll be semi-rigid but not completely rigid. On the back side here, there's a somewhat solid piece to help it keep it from bulging in towards where your tire, your chain, and your exhaust is. Now the top piece here is a little bit different than what most people are used for. It does not have one of those Ziploc type of things. All it has is a standard Velcro. The way you make this thing waterproof is by folding it over. They say fold it over at least 3 times for it to be waterproof. And once you roll it over like that, you snap it down. I'll show you with a bag without stuff full of t-shirts. So pretend this is all the necessary gear for going out and doing whatever it is you're going to go do. You got it all stuffed in there. What you do, push the air out. You start folding it. Roll it over until you get. We'll get to that later. This is my Get Out and Ride pint class from back in the days when I used to race mountain bikes down here in Florida. Dirt Rag magazine. Used to love that magazine enough that I got a lifetime subscription to it. Unfortunately, the lifetime subscription expired just about the same time the magazine did. It's a shame, I miss it. Sentiment remains the same though. Get out and ride. These are the 3 completely stock strap points that they have on the Pan America. There's 2 up here, right by the passenger seat. Then there's 1 point right down here, right behind the rear peg. These are the 3 spots that I'm going to use to mount the bag. This is how I'm going to run the bags until such time as I can get the proper racks for it. Okay, there's 2 upper clips and there's 2 upper slots. Run the clip up through the slot. Then I run the other one over top of the rear grab rail. When you don't run it over the grab rail, these things sit a little bit low for my taste, and this bike has a lot of suspension travel in the back. You don't want your bag anywhere near any of the suspension travel. If it gets hung up or things get caught in a chain or anything like that, it's nothing but bad news. This thing has more than enough power to rip this bag to shreds, and then all your stuff looks like a garage sale all scattered across the floor. Then for the front part, for now what I do is I run this quick release. Run through there, snap it down, that secures it on the front. Then I got 3 points of contact holding it. What I would do at this point is I'm going to go back through and tighten down every single one of these to get it to the point where it's sitting solid, it's not moving around. Then I just out of habit flip these up. All these loose pieces here are not going to be flopping around when I get done. Now if you take a look, you'll notice this is the swing arm, this is the chain. That right there is the metal mount where the foot peg is. No part of this bag is past or inside that. So as this moves up and down, there's no way this is going to get caught up in that. This is nice and secure. It's not going to push in at all. The other side mounts up exactly the same. However, there is one big problem on the right-hand side of the bike that you don't have on the left-hand side of the bike. And all you dual sport riders have probably already seen it. These bags are PVC, and it's sitting right there on top of the muffler. If you leave it running like that, this PVC is going to melt, it's going to get all over the muffler, and you're going to be sad. What you need to do is get a hold of the heat shields. These heat shields are aluminum. They clamp right over top of the muffler. Measure them out, find out where they are, and that gap is a big enough gap to prevent it from melting. You tighten this clamp down on it, it holds it in place. What Giant Loop recommends, if you don't want to scratch your muffler, and a lot of the Harley guys are not going to want to scratch the mufflers, you take some muffler wrap or header wrap, put a wrap around that first, and then put the C-clamp on top of it. That way it's not going to melt, it's not going to burn like it would if you did something like electrical tape. It'll keep you from scratching this, and it'll still clamp down in place properly. One thing I'm going to warn you, if you've never messed with header wrap before, when you first fire it up, it's going to smoke. It's going to really smoke. You're going to think you set your bike on fire. Don't worry, it only lasts for less than a minute, then all the smoke goes away and everything's good. Now one additional thing I also do, because I'm not really that trusting of the sort when it comes to off-road and motorcycles, is these clips right here. I run 2 additional bands over top of the rear passenger seat, clip it from one side to the other side, so that way both sides are connected to each other. And if those snaps I showed you earlier happen to fail or come apart or don't get snapped down properly because I'm about half awake, it's still going to hold the bags in place and they're not going to fall off and get dragged down the road or wind up somewhere in the last 100 miles I didn't notice. Well, that's how I'm going to run my panniers for now, till such a time as I can get a hold of some proper racks to put on the side. That'll stiffen up, make me a little bit more comfortable with the whole situation. One thing I want to point out about these soft packs though, soft packs are not a bad thing, especially off-road. If you've got them hard aluminum cases and you're going in serious off-road, you can hurt yourself. I had a friend down here in Florida that got his leg caught between a rock and the pannier, and he wound up with a fib fracture. Both bones right here snapped and wound up doing his next off-road ride sitting in the sidecar of a Euro. These are really a viable alternative, especially if you're doing serious off-road work. That's all for now. Be safe and have fun out there.